The small town of Frostwood was known for its picturesque charm, with its quaint houses, friendly neighbors, and a sense of community that made everyone feel safe. However, one winter, a sinister change was about to take place. The townsfolk had always enjoyed the beauty of snowfall, but nobody could have predicted the horror that would accompany the heaviest snowfall they had ever witnessed. It started innocently enough. The snowflakes fell gently from the darkened sky, covering the town in a thick, white blanket. Children were delighted, building snowmen and engaging in epic snowball fights. But as the snowfall intensified, the mood shifted from joy to unease. The heavy snow began to isolate Frostwood from the outside world. Roads became impassable, and the power lines were weighed down by the accumulating snow. The town was plunged into darkness, and the once warm community now felt like a desolate, frozen wasteland. As the days passed, the situation grew dire. The townspeople struggled to survive without electricity and adequate supplies. Fear crept in as communication broke down, and the isolation took its toll on everyone. Whispers of an ancient curse spread among the desperate residents, fueled by the eerie howling of the wind and the mysterious shadows cast by the moonlight on the snow. One by one, people began to disappear. Footprints led into the snow-covered streets, but there were no signs of where they went. The remaining residents huddled together in fear, wondering if the legends of the curse were true. Some claimed to have seen shadowy figures moving through the blizzard, while others spoke of ghostly voices calling out from the swirling snow. In the heart of the storm, a group of courageous individuals decided to venture out, hoping to find help or answers. Armed with flashlights and bundled in layers of clothing, they trudged through the deep snowdrifts, the chilling wind biting at their faces. The town seemed to stretch endlessly in all directions, with no signs of life beyond the ghostly shapes that danced in the blizzard. As they pressed forward, the group stumbled upon an old, dilapidated mansion at the edge of town, an ominous structure that seemed to materialize out of the snowstorm. Creaking doors swung open on their own, revealing a frozen interior that echoed with the whispers of the past. It became evident that the mansion held the key to the town's chilling secrets. Inside, they discovered a centuries-old journal detailing a tragic tale of a group of pioneers who had settled in Frostwood long ago. Their desperate attempts to survive a harsh winter led to a dark pact with an otherworldly force, and the heavy snowfall became a manifestation of the curse that bound them. As the group delved deeper into the mansion's secrets, they uncovered an ancient ritual that could potentially break the curse. However, time was running out, and the relentless snowfall showed no signs of abating. The remaining townspeople, on the brink of despair, clung to the hope that the group could succeed and lift the curse that had plagued Frostwood for generations. The chilling climax unfolded on a moonlit night, as the group gathered in the town square to perform the ancient ritual. The wind howled in protest, and the snowfall intensified to a blinding flurry. The air crackled with an otherworldly energy as they chanted the incantation, desperately hoping to break the curse that had gripped their town for so long. As the last words echoed through the storm, the wind suddenly ceased, and the snowfall abated. The silence that followed was deafening, and the townspeople held their breath, unsure of what would happen next. Slowly, the clouds parted, revealing a starry sky above Frostwood. The curse was broken. Relief washed over the town as the sun rose on a new day. The heavy snowfall had ceased, and the isolation that had gripped Frostwood began to lift. The townspeople, grateful for the bravery of the group that had faced the horrors of the storm, worked together to rebuild their lives. Yet, as the last of the snow melted away, a chilling question lingered in the air: was the curse truly gone, or would the heavy snowfall return to haunt Frostwood once again? Only time would tell, as the town cautiously embraced the warmth of a new beginning, forever haunted by the memories of the winter that brought both beauty and terror to their lives. Story 2. The town of Eldridge, nestled at the foot of the towering mountains, had always embraced winter with open arms. The crisp air, the pristine snow-covered landscapes, and the cozy warmth of the close-knit community made it a haven for those who loved the beauty of the season. However, the winter of 1923 was different. It was a year that would forever be etched in the memories of Eldridge's inhabitants as the year of the heavy snowfall and the unspeakable horrors that accompanied it. The snow began falling in early November, a soft and gentle descent from the heavens that painted the town in a glittering coat of white. At first, the residents reveled in the enchanting winter wonderland that had transformed Eldridge into a picture-perfect postcard. Children built snowmen, families gathered around crackling fireplaces, and the town exuded a festive atmosphere. As the days passed, though, the snowfall grew more intense, becoming a relentless cascade that blanketed the town in a thick, suffocating layer. Roads disappeared beneath towering drifts, and the once cheery atmosphere turned somber as the townspeople realized they were cut off from the outside world. Panic set in as the realization dawned that this was no ordinary winter. Communication with neighboring towns became impossible, and the power lines groaned under the weight of the accumulating snow. The townspeople, already struggling with the isolation, soon faced a more sinister threat. Whispers of shadows moving through the snow-covered streets circulated, and eerie figures were spotted in the periphery of the residents' vision. Amid the chaos, a group of friends decided to investigate the mysterious occurrences. Their journey into the heart of the snow-covered town led them to an abandoned mansion on the outskirts, its windows shattered, and its structure seemingly frozen in time. Intrigued and spurred by a mix of curiosity and dread, they entered the mansion, unaware that they were about to unearth the dark secrets of Eldridge. As they explored the decaying hallways and dust-covered rooms, they stumbled upon an old diary that revealed a horrifying tale. Centuries ago, Eldridge was home to a group of settlers who, faced with a brutal winter, turned to dark rituals in a desperate bid for survival. The heavy snowfall that had once been a source of wonder was now a manifestation of a curse that gripped the town. The diary spoke of sacrifices made to appease an ancient entity, and how the settlers bound themselves to a malevolent force in exchange for protection from the harsh elements. As the group delved deeper into the mansion's secrets, they discovered a chilling prophecy foretelling that the curse would return in a year of unprecedented snowfall to claim the souls of the town's inhabitants. Realization struck them like an icy gust of wind. The winter of 1923 was the prophesied year. Determined to break the curse and save their town, the group sought the guidance of an elderly resident rumored to possess knowledge of ancient rituals. Together, they pieced together fragments of long-forgotten incantations and rituals that promised a chance at salvation. As they performed the ritual in the heart of Eldridge, the snowfall intensified, swirling around them like a malevolent force resisting its own demise. The air crackled with energy, and the temperature plummeted to bone-chilling lows. Shadows danced on the periphery, and the very essence of the town seemed to resist the group's efforts. In a climactic moment, as the last words of the incantation echoed through the snow-covered streets, a blinding light enveloped Eldridge. The wind howled, and the very ground trembled beneath their feet. For a moment, it seemed as though the curse had been broken. But as the light subsided and the group caught their breath, an unsettling silence fell upon the town. The heavy snowfall ceased, and Eldridge lay shrouded in an eerie stillness. The group exchanged uneasy glances, realizing that the price for breaking the curse might be more than they had bargained for. The townspeople, emerging from their homes, were greeted by a surreal sight. The snow, once a pristine blanket, now bore the marks of the struggle between the forces at play. Unearthly symbols were etched into the frozen landscape, and a cold, unnatural quiet settled over Eldridge. As days turned into weeks, the town remained in a state of unnerving calm. The heavy snowfall had ceased, but an unsettling aura lingered in the air. The once close community now felt like strangers, haunted by the memories of the winter that had torn apart the fabric of their reality. Rumors circulated of ghostly apparitions wandering the snow-covered streets at night, and the shadows that once seemed to dance playfully now held a malevolent edge. The diary they had discovered hinted at the possibility that breaking the curse might have unleashed something far darker, an entity hungry for the souls of those who dared to defy its hold on Eldridge. As the survivors grappled with the aftermath of their actions, the town became a chilling reminder of the thin veil between the mundane and the supernatural. Eldridge, once a haven of warmth and community, now stood as a testament to the consequences of tampering with ancient forces. And so, the residents of Eldridge faced a harsh truth. The heavy snowfall may have stopped, but the horrors that accompanied it were far from over. The curse, once bound by rituals and sacrifices, had taken on a new, insidious form, leaving the town trapped in a perpetual winter of both the physical and metaphysical kind, a frozen purgatory where the boundary between the living and the otherworldly blurred into an endless, haunting expanse. Story 3. The town of Ravens Hollow lay nestled in a valley surrounded by towering evergreen forests. It was a place where the winters were long, and the snowfall was heavy, but the residents had always found solace in the warmth of their community. However, the winter of 1937 would prove to be unlike any other, as Ravens Hollow became the stage for a chilling tale that unfolded with the falling snow. The first snowflakes began to drift down from the overcast sky in early December. At first, the townspeople were delighted by the prospect of a white Christmas. Children bundled up in layers, eagerly anticipating the joy of sledding down the hills and building snowforts. But as the days passed, the snowfall grew more intense, and the once festive atmosphere began to transform into a haunting spectacle. The heavy snowfall seemed relentless, burying the town in an oppressive silence. Roads became impassable, and the towering pines surrounding Ravens Hollow groaned under the weight of the accumulating snow. The town's connection to the outside world was severed, leaving its residents isolated and cut off from help. As the winter wore on, an unsettling unease settled over Ravens Hollow. Whispers of ancient legends circulated among the townspeople, tales of a vengeful spirit said to be awakened by the heaviest snowfall. It was a spirit that sought retribution for past wrongs, and its icy touch left a mark on the land. The once friendly community became gripped by fear. Shadows moved through the snow-covered streets, and strange, ghostly figures were spotted in the distance. Every creaking tree branch and howling wind seemed to carry a foreboding message, and the townspeople couldn't shake the feeling that something malevolent lurked in the depths of the winter storm. A group of friends, fueled by a mix of curiosity and desperation, decided to investigate the source of the town's torment. Armed with flashlights and clad in heavy winter gear, they ventured into the heart of the snow-covered forest, where an old, dilapidated mansion stood as a relic of Ravens Hollow's past. The mansion, known as the Winter's End Manor, had long been abandoned. It was said to be cursed, its halls haunted by the memories of a tragedy that had befallen the town generations ago. The group, undeterred by the chilling winds and swirling snow, entered the mansion, where they hoped to uncover the truth behind the heavy snowfall and the spectral presence that loomed over Ravens Hollow. Inside the mansion, they discovered a hidden chamber adorned with ancient symbols and faded tapestries. Among the relics of a bygone era, they found a journal that chronicled the story of a bitter dispute among the town's founders. In a desperate attempt to settle the conflict, a dark ritual was performed, binding the fate of Ravens Hollow to the spirit of winter itself. As they delved deeper into the mystery, the group learned of the spirit's insatiable hunger for revenge. The heavy snowfall was not just a weather phenomenon. It was the manifestation of the spirit's wrath, a supernatural force that sought to consume the town in an eternal winter. Determined to break the curse, the group unraveled the threads of an ancient incantation hidden within the mansion's archives. The ritual required a sacrifice, a willing offering of warmth and life to counterbalance the spirit's icy grip. The group, now aware of the consequences, hesitated, but the urgency of saving Ravens Hollow pushed them forward. Gathering in the town square on the coldest night of the winter, they recited the incantation, their breath visible in the frigid air. As the final words echoed through the snow-covered valley, a blinding light enveloped the town. The wind howled, and the snowfall intensified to an otherworldly degree. In the midst of the storm, the spirit of winter manifested itself, a spectral figure with eyes that glowed like frozen sapphires. The group braced themselves for the inevitable, unsure if their efforts would bring salvation or doom. As the spirit approached, the temperature dropped to an unbearable low, and the very essence of Ravens Hollow seemed to tremble. Then, in a moment that felt like an eternity, the spirit paused. The blinding light faded, and the snowfall ceased. Raven's Hollow was plunged into a profound silence. The spirit, appeased by the sacrifice, retreated into the depths of the winter storm, leaving the town in an eerie calm. The once buried streets emerged from the snowdrifts, and the trees stood tall once again. The townspeople, now free from the spirit's icy grasp, emerged from their homes, blinking in the unfamiliar light. Relief and gratitude washed over them as they realized the heavy snowfall had finally ceased. The group of friends, though changed by the ordeal, were hailed as heroes. As the winter turned to spring, Raven's Hollow gradually thawed, and the memory of that fateful winter began to fade. The townspeople, forever marked by the experience, grew closer as they shared stories of resilience and survival. Yet, in quiet moments, some claimed to hear the distant howl of the wind carrying whispers of the spirit that still lingered in the shadows of Raven's Hollow, a reminder that the line between the natural and the supernatural was thin, and that some curses, once broken, left an indelible mark on the soul of a town. Story 4. The newfound calm in Raven's Hollow was short-lived. As the winter storm retreated, an unsettling quiet settled over the town, accompanied by an eerie sense of foreboding. The townspeople, though grateful for the cessation of the heavy snowfall, couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed in the very fabric of Raven's Hollow. In the days that followed, whispers began to circulate about strange occurrences. Residents reported hearing phantom footsteps in the snow, glimpsing shadowy figures out of the corner of their eyes, and waking in the dead of night to bone-chilling whispers that seemed to emanate from the frost-laden air. The group of friends who had braved the Winter's End Manor found themselves tormented by nightmares of the spectral figure they had encountered during the ritual. The once vibrant community now felt like a ghost town, its streets deserted after nightfall. The warmth that once emanated from the tightly knit neighborhood had given way to a pervasive chill that seemed to seep into the very soul of Raven's Hollow. As the weeks passed, the spectral occurrences escalated. Some claimed to see apparitions in the frost-covered windows of their homes, their faces contorted in frozen agony. Others reported waking to find their rooms plunged into an otherworldly cold, their breath visible in the frigid air. The very air itself seemed to carry a bitter, malevolent presence. The group of friends, desperate to understand the nature of the lingering darkness, returned to the Winter's End Manor. The mansion, once a symbol of Raven's Hollow's cursed history, now stood as a focal point for the supernatural forces that gripped the town. As they delved into further research, they uncovered a forgotten aspect of the ancient ritual, a loophole that had allowed the spirit of winter to persist. The sacrifice made during the ritual had been incomplete. The spirit, though momentarily appeased, hungered for more than the meager offering provided. It craved the warmth of the living, seeking to draw the life force from the very souls of Raven's Hollow. Faced with the chilling realization, the group confronted the townspeople, urging them to remain vigilant and avoid the isolation of the night. The spectral figures, once mere whispers in the shadows, now materialized in the moonlit streets, leaving trails of frost in their wake. The situation reached a horrifying climax on the eve of the next snowfall. The temperature plummeted to unprecedented lows as the townspeople huddled in fear. The group of friends, armed with newfound knowledge, raced against time to amend the incomplete ritual and banish the spirit once and for all. In a desperate attempt to save Raven's Hollow, they gathered in the town square, the frosty air biting at their skin. Reciting the incantation, they offered themselves as willing sacrifices, hoping to sate the spirit's hunger and break the curse that bound their town. As the ritual reached its crescendo, a tempest of wind and snow enveloped the town square. The very fabric of reality seemed to warp as the spectral figure emerged from the storm. Its eyes glowed with an intensity that pierced through the night, and the temperature dropped to an agonizing chill. In a moment of sheer terror, the figure advanced toward the group, drawing the warmth from their bodies. The friends, their breath visible in the freezing air, felt the icy grip of the spirit tightening around them. It was a moment of sacrifice, a desperate plea to save Raven's Hollow from the perpetual winter that threatened to consume it. As the last words of the incantation echoed through the snowstorm, a blinding light enveloped the town square. The wind howled, and the snowfall intensified to an otherworldly degree. For a heartbeat, everything stood still. Then, as suddenly as it began, the storm ceased. Raven's Hollow lay cloaked in an unsettling stillness. The friends, drained and weary, found themselves standing in the aftermath of the ritual, unsure of what had transpired. The town slowly emerged from the spectral silence. The heavy snowfall had ceased once again, and the temperature began to rise. The townspeople, spared from the malevolent grip of the spirit, cautiously stepped out of their homes, their eyes filled with a mixture of relief and trepidation. But the once vibrant community bore the scars of the supernatural battle. The houses, still adorned with frost-laden windows, seemed to carry the weight of the darkness that had gripped Raven's Hollow. The very air, though warmer, held echoes of the haunting whispers that lingered in the aftermath. As the townspeople began the process of rebuilding their lives, the group of friends, forever changed by their ordeal, faced an uncertain future. The curse may have been broken, but the shadows of the Winter's End Manor and the spirit of winter still cast a long, chilling presence over Raven's Hollow. And so, as the seasons changed and the town began to heal, the residents couldn't shake the feeling that the horror of that winter had left an indelible mark on their once thriving community. The heavy snowfall may have ceased, but the echoes of the supernatural struggle would forever resonate in the hearts of those who called Raven's Hollow home.